Every man has a choice. I chose the impossible. I chose Big Damn Love. Released in the summer of 2007 to almost universal acclaim, BioShock was the creation of Irrational Games, then named 2K Boston. The studio co-founded by Ken Levine, a writer and creative director who was at that point most well known for his work on the PC classics Thief the Dark Project and System Shock 2. Back in 2002, Levine and his team wanted to create a spiritual successor to the gameplay and style of System Shock 2, and that project eventually became BioShock. A mixture of first-person shooter and RPG elements with a heavy focus on exploration. BioShock is the story of a man, Jack, the lone survivor of a plane crash in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. He finds himself washed up near a mysterious lighthouse in the middle of nowhere, which turns out to be an entrance to the secret underwater city of Rapture. Intended by its founder, Andrew Ryan, to be a utopia for the free market, away from the clutches of governments and churches and the parasites of the underclasses. Rapture has fallen to violent revolution, its hallways patrolled by the mutated splicers, their genetics twisted by the wonder drug Adam and its derivatives. The hunt is on for more Adam, gathered by the haunting little sisters and their hulking protectors, the Big Daddies. Jack is aided by the revolutionary Atlas in an attempt to escape the city, the chokehold placed on it by Ryan, and discover if it was accident that brought him here after all.
If you press that button, you'll learn what it means to truly be my enemy.
There's a lot to love about this game, so let's start with how it plays. Pretty damn excellently. Now, it's at its core a first-person shooter, more or less, so the basis of the gameplay is really some very satisfying shooting with a small range of weapons, but some alternate ammo types make the modest arsenal feel much broader. The real twist here is the plasmids, genetic modifications that give you a variety of powers, both offensive and defensive, active or passive. You can shoot lightning or fire, you can freeze your enemies, you can swarm them with insects, you can turn invisible, move things with your mind, or turn the splicers against each other. It really adds to the variety of the combat and makes the game feel like less of a bullet storm, which isn't really what the developers are going for anyway. I mean, ammo gets scarce at various points throughout the game, so you can't really rely on blasting your way through, and it's just plain more fun if you don't. You can also use stealth or hacking to try approaching encounters different ways, turn Rapture's defenses against the splicers in your favour, and you can set traps and try and lure people into them, things like that. So there's a lot of different ways to approach the combat situations, and you'll need to use all the tricks in your bag when it's time to gather some Adam and take on a Big Daddy. The Big Daddies and Little Sisters are absolutely the most recognisable elements of the game, and they're indicative of its greatest strength, and that's the world it builds. The City of Rapture is as much a character in this game as it is a setting, and it's an absolute joy to explore. The design of this society and its elements has become iconic, taking Art Deco sensibilities and jamming in some steampunk and biopunk with just a twist of body horror. Although the game is beginning to show its age graphically, and understandably it's nearly 10 years old, the strong art design still provides some visual treats to litter the halls of the city. If treat is the right word. There's no part of this game that isn't worth exploring. No area that won't reward your curiosity. The environments tell a rich backstory of a fallen utopia brought low by its citizens. Those same citizens, twisted by their own decadence, are the creatures that stalk you through the city on your journey. The masks they wear and their insane babbling, telling of how the realization of what they've become has broken them completely.
Mommy's gone. And Daddy too. Wait. This is happening before and none. Why aren't you here?
The game is light on face-to-face interactions, but heavy on memorable characters. Ryan, Atlas, Suchong, Tenenbaum, Ken Levine and his team create them through audio, both through radio messages and audio diaries, using it as a very effective storytelling tool to tell a tale around a silent protagonist. They drip feed you information about the nature of the city, the splicers, the big daddies, the little sisters, allowing you to make your own connections and reach your own conclusions before the game does start giving you answers. It's certainly a refinement of the techniques used in System Shock 2, but here it's heightened by some fantastic vocal performances and just plain sharper writing. As with the earlier game, there is a big story twist, which I won't get into here. I don't want to get into too many details about the plot just to avoid spoilers. But that aside, there is a lot the game has to say about things like player agency in video games, about objectivism in the free market, which is a theme about the game that's been talked about a lot. There's also the undercurrent theme of just how far people are willing to go in the pursuit of wealth and happiness. There's plenty to get your teeth into here, and certainly more going on thematically than your average action game. There's also a strong theme of morality running through the game here. And although it seems kind of binary, compared to the stuff that's come after especially, it doing what it did at the time it did has really come to influence a lot of the depth of narrative in mainstream video games. The legacy of BioShock is the wider acceptance of video games as an artistic medium, the advancement of narrative in games, the reinforcement of the importance of strong design and rich environments. But aside from all that stuff, it's just a damn fine game. And that's why I love it. Well, that's it for this week's Big Damn Love. Thank you for listening to me rave about BioShock. Please feel free to leave us comments. We'd love to hear what you think about the game, what you think about the sequels, whether you want to see more in the future. Of course, if you want to email us, you can get us bigdamncontact@gmail.com or at BigDamnCast on Twitter. Speaking of the Big Damn Cast, please subscribe to this channel for the Big Damn Cast every Friday, Big Damn Love every Sunday, and more things to come soon. Spread the word, would you kindly? Bye.
You've had your fun, but enough is enough.